Welcome back to Let's Talk About That. We have Erica here with us today. How are you?
Good, great.
Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
So my name's Erica. I own a charcuterie business, Graze by Erica, in downtown Elkhart, so not too far away from here. And I make charcuterie boards, to put it
So fun.
easy. Yeah.
And your place, I've been there once before, stopped in. It's in the back of another store,
Yes.
isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. So our building situation is really unique, and it's actually kind of cool. So we're at 224 South Main Street, and the front of our building that sits on Main Street is Interior Motives, and Angie owns that, and it is furniture, home accessories, home goods. She also does designing for homes as well, renovations and new builds. And inside of her store is her sister Kathy's store, so Core Zone Sterling Silver, and her sister Kathy owns that, as well as another business, Spark Permanent Jewelry, which is a permanent jewelry business. And then, so they three are in the building, and then me, Graze by Erica, is also in the building in the back. And then we have two other businesses in the building as well. Gigi's Boutique, which is right next door to us, but we are all connected. You don't even have to go outside.
Oh, okay.
And then
That's
in
nice.
the back, it is very nice, yeah. And then in the back of there is opening up next week, actually, Main Street Shoe Company. So we're getting a new
So
shoe store.
exciting.
Yeah. So there's 5 or 6 actually women-owned small businesses, all like right inside our building at 224. So it makes it kind of a unique shopping experience too.
It's such a cute little
Yes,
place, too.
it's so cute.
Yeah.
Come into like one store, and you don't have to go outside and walk down the street. You have like 6 different businesses that you can.
Yeah, I didn't realize it at first either because I walked in, saw the jewelry and stuff.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is cute. Kind of kept walking. And I was like, what's back here?
Yeah.
And there's a whole another space. and
Yes,
everything.
yeah, and
Super cute.
everyone has their own little space decorated, so it's very different and unique to their business. So it's kind of a cool little fun thing to walk around the building.
Do you guys all like work together and
Yes,
stuff?
yeah,
And-
it's a lot of fun. Owning a small business can sometimes be very lonely. So I have like built-in coworkers, kind of. So we all bounce ideas off of each other. We all help each other. We plan events together. If I need help with something in the back or in my kitchen, I will go grab someone. Can you help me? Carry out this delivery or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. There's like 15 women that are working
That's
there
awesome.
at one time during the day. So it's so much fun. A lot of times it feels like we're not even working.
That's
we're just hanging
awesome.
out as friends. So
And that's how you want it to be. You know, you want to go to work and not feel like, oh, great, here's another day. You
I
want to
know.
be excited for it.
yeah.
So what's your story? Like, how'd you get started with doing your business?
Yeah, so I actually was working in the RV industry before I started Graze. I was sitting at a desk all day long, and the job was great, but I just felt like I was meant to do something bigger, greater than myself, and I wanted to build something for myself. So I had always made charcuterie boards, and I had made these little time-lapse videos when I would make them at home, and I would post them on
Just
Facebook
for fun?
like,
Yeah.
hey friends, look what I made for Thanksgiving. And I would post them. People would ask if they were for sale, if they could buy one, and I'm like, no, they're not for sale, but thanks. And
Did you think that was like weird at first?
I thought like, I mean, yeah, these are cute, but I mean, you can just make them at home. So I thought I was flattered though that they, thought they were great and they wanted to buy them. And the more I had thought about it, and the more that I was, sitting at my desk job and thinking, gosh, I just am seeking joy in my life, and I want to do something greater than this. So I thought, what the heck? I was like 20 years old at the time.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna just start this business and make it more of like a hobby.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I went into it, like maybe something that will spark joy in my life. So I researched for a couple of months, found some supplies, and went to the grocery store, bought up my ingredients, made a couple boards, launched them on Instagram, and had my dad's friend create this logo for me, and launched it all on my little separate Instagram that I made, and it blew up really quickly for me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I grew.
When you said when it was 20, right?
Yeah, I think I had just turned like 21.
Okay.
At the time. I'm 25 now.
Okay.
So I had just turned like 21 when I had this idea. And so I was young, and I think that's why I didn't really think much about it, because I was so young and it was pretty low risk. I was
let's
living
go
at
for
home
it, you know?
still. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have kids or
I'm young.
a
What do I have to
house,
lose?
Bills.
Like-
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, let's just do this. And then I launched it on Instagram, and then it grew so quickly for me. 3 weeks later, I was able to go part-time at my job, and I was making boards really early in the morning, and then I'd go to work and work half day and then come home and then deliver the boards and do the same thing, like
Wow.
6 days a week. And I just loved it. I wanted to grow the business so badly, and I wanted to quit my job and just do this. And then I found out that
Hard to be patient in that kind of situation.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I know. I was waking up at like 3 a.m.
Oh, my
every morning
goodness.
to make charcuterie, and then I'd go to work at 8, and I'd work until 12, and then I'd come home and deliver them all. And then I'd,
Wow.
go grocery shopping at night, prep, and then do the same thing the next morning.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but it really instilled in me like how much I like wanted this, and how much I wanted to keep trying at it and building the brand and the business and myself. And I ended up finding out that I'm not supposed to be doing this out of my parents' kitchen. On their kitchen island, it's like apparently very illegal according to the health department.
Wow.
So
I did not know
I
that.
quickly was like, shoot, I have to find a commercial kitchen. And I ended up finding the space that I'm at now, and I renovated it for 6 months and then moved in to my space that I'm at now. And
That's
the kitchen,
awesome.
my store's all there, all the things. So
It's super cute.
Yeah,
I stopped
thanks.
in one day. I don't know if you ever noticed, but I took some pictures while we were there.
Oh, yeah.
So there's some pictures on our Facebook page on ViviScape, and it's super cute. You got the little say cheese thing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's super cute.
Thanks.
So what are some challenges that you've faced starting your own business?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. Lots. I think the two that come to mind first is I've learned so much to pivot, and that's kind of my word that I say all the time. I had to use the word yesterday in a situation, but I am constantly pivoting. I'm such a planner and like very type A, and not really a go with the flow type of person, but I've had to become a go with the flow type of person, and really learn to pivot. So things that I have, planned on happening, or, my opening date for my grand opening, or when I'm planning an event, or, doing something with something in the kitchen, and it, 8 times out of 10, sometimes it just doesn't work out the way that I've planned it to, and I have to pivot and, think of something else to do on the fly. So pivot has been one of the big challenges that I've had to learn. And then also, I would say like balancing work and personal life has been really hard, because my work is everything to me.
Yeah.
And I think some people, I've heard this quote before, they say, I would rather work like 80 hours a week for myself than work like 40 hours a week for somebody else. And I agree. It's very true. But I am always working. It never shuts off. Whereas before, when I was working for somebody else, I would, enter into the office at 8 o'clock, and then I'd leave at 5 and wouldn't think about it again until 8 o'clock. When I entered the office again.
Right.
Or on a Friday, I wouldn't think about it again until Monday. But when you own a business, it doesn't ever shut off for you. Even when I go to bed, I'm still thinking about it when I'm sleeping in my dreams. So it's hard to balance when I see my phone light up and somebody's messaging me or sending me an email. I want to respond right away. But I've learned, still learning, I need to set boundaries for,
Definitely. I mean, you got to have a balance between work life and home life, and like going out and being with friends or family or whatever.
Yes.
Like
then I need to, keep my phone down, not think about work, not talk about work. But it is hard because it is my business.
I totally get that.
But
something that you love.
Yeah, it is something that I love. Yeah, and it is how I make a living, and people that work for me depend on me for them to make their living as well. So, it doesn't ever turn off for me. But I try. I'm learning to create that boundary and that balance. But that has probably been the biggest challenge of owning.
I get that.
Owning my business.
I'm 24. Yeah. So I think growing up at the time, a lot of people were thinking, oh, what's the one job that's going to get me the most money?
Yes.
But then as I've gotten older, I've noticed more and more people are wanting to find something fulfilling, something that they love. Yeah. They don't, like I said before, they don't want to feel like that they're going to work every day and regretting it or
exactly.
Whatever.
Life is just so short. And I am glad that I realized that at a young age, that I was going to work every day to build somebody else's success. Mm-hmm. And I got a little chunk of that, and which is fine. That's just how the world works with working for other people. But I wanted to, like I said earlier, just be a part of something bigger than myself. And I wanted to build my own success and my own business and my own brand and my own name for me. Yeah. And not for somebody else. So that's been the most fulfilling is anything that I do for Graze. I make the decision on what I think is best for my business and for me. Right. Somebody else doesn't make that decision for me. Right. So that's kind of nice too.
Was it hard to make that transition at first? Like, were you kind of scared? Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if this doesn't work out?
It's a lot of pressure. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure to perform. And, my business is me, and people relate Graze with Erica, and I want to represent my business well, and I don't want to let anyone down, or I don't want to let myself down. So it is hard. I do put a lot of pressure on myself to perform and to, it's a lot. Owning a small business, it's a lot of pressure, but it's so worth it. Like I feel so fulfilled, and the challenges of owning a small business, I feel the positives of it and the benefits like totally outweigh those, little challenges that I come across every now and then. I just think working for yourself, there's nothing like it. I don't think I could work for anyone else ever again.
So did you have any help with it? Like, were your parents supportive, family, friends?
I think when I had the idea to begin with, people were a little like,
are you sure about that?
That's okay. So people and my parents and my then boyfriend, now fiance, was a little like,
oh, congrats.
Thank you. Are you sure you want to do that? But I was sure. I was living at home, like I said, and kind of it was no risk. I had pulled from my savings account to start up and buy all my stuff, and I thought, what do I have to lose? I'm, living at home still. I don't have anyone relying on me to feed them. So, I thought, why not? Like, just let's take the risk. I don't know if I would have done this if I was like 35 with married and kids and, a
that definitely would have made it a little more difficult.
Yeah, it would have made it a bit more difficult and a bigger decision.
Definitely doable.
Yeah, doable. Yes, people start businesses at all ages, but I think it was just easy for me just to jump into it right away and just, what do I have to lose? Right. It's kind of how I thought the whole time.
So did you go to college at all, or?
I went for a little bit. I graduated from high school in 2015, and school was not my thing. I was a C and D student, always. It was hard for me. I always had to, I felt like work harder than everyone else around me, and still wasn't getting good grades. So I went to IUSB right out of high school because...
That's where I went.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's what everyone tells you have to do. You have to go to college right after high school. And so I went for a semester, and it just wasn't clicking for me. I didn't like it. It was hard for me. I felt like I was working a lot harder than everyone else around me, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So that really didn't give me any motivation to...
So it's kind of just like general studies.
Right. It was general studies, and it was like, I just feel like I'm wasting my parents' money being here. So I enrolled in my second semester of college, and then about 2 months into it, I stopped going, and I didn't tell anyone. Oh, no. Yeah, I stopped going, and I would just go to work every day. I wanted to go to work. I worked at Edible Arrangements at the time, which was super fun.
So that kind of started it there.
That kind of did spark my passion for being in the kitchen, food and hosting and all the things. So I would go to work every day and I wouldn't tell my parents that I was not going to school. And then finals week rolled around and they were like, "It's finals week. Why do we never see you studying?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't been to school in 3 months." They're like, "Oh my gosh, Erica." So after we got over that little hurdle, I just didn't re-enroll for the second year. And they had told me, if you're not going to go to school, you need to, get a job. That's not Edible Arrangements.
Yeah.
So that's when I got into the RV industry and got into my office job. That I was previously at before Graze.
Right.
So, I went for a little bit.
Okay.
But didn't stay. I think society back then, I think it's much more acceptable now.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't go to college, but when I graduated high school, it was just assumed that you were supposed to go to college.
Well, not a lot of people realize, all the different opportunities you have with college versus without college.
Yes.
You could still make money not going to college.
Exactly. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I just felt like, gosh, I'm wasting this money here. And I really don't know what I'm going to do when I'm out of here or what I'm going to study while I'm here. And my parents had always taught me it's who you know, not what you know. So I really used that phrase that they had always told me growing up to get to kind of where I'm at now. My connections and networking has really helped me build Graze and got me into the RV industry. Has kind of gotten me to here where I am now. So
plus, at least you could say you tried.
I tried. I tried, and I don't have any regrets.
No,
not going. I'm not wishing that I would have stayed for 4 years. I don't have any.
I mean, look at you now.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't go to school for business. I just learned everything myself along the way. So
what were some of the things that you did to learn more about how to start your own business?
Yeah, it was trial and error.
Of course.
It's my first thing. My dad has always owned businesses, so I looked at him for a lot of support and advice, and as well as people that I knew who had businesses as well. Yeah. I would reach out to them, and they would give me advice, and here's what to do about this, and starting and retail was a huge thing for me. When I opened up Graze, the store, I knew nothing about retail and buying things and reselling them on my shelf and how much do you mark them up and all the things. So I had a lot of people that I knew who were in retail and had businesses that I was able to ask, and they were able to answer my questions and help me and coach me and mentor me. And that really helped me along the way too. And I just feel like I've learned so much more being out with hands-on, learning things, opening a business, than I maybe would have ever learned from a textbook in a classroom.
I feel like hands-on stuff you definitely learn more from.
Yes.
I remember when I was in school, some people had a hard time picking up Spanish, for instance. I was one of those people. I had a hard time picking that up. And they said a really good thing to do is just immerse yourself in it. Yes. So if people were thinking about taking a trip for the Spanish class to Portugal or whatever, they would say that's actually a really good thing to do because you learn it faster, you learn it better. And,
and it's trial and error. Being out in the field, learning how to do it, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out what works and what doesn't work.
Kind of have to.
You have to. Yeah, it's like sink or swim. So that's kind of what I did. I just, let's see if this works. And I tried.
Just keep swimming.
If it didn't work, then I'm not going to do that again.
Right. So with what you learned, is there certain things that didn't work out for you that worked for others? That you just kind of, like you said, trial and error, had to test it out?
Yeah, I have found that there are a couple of things that, work for my business that maybe don't work for others, or vice versa. I would maybe take some advice that people have given me and made it my own, and did what I thought, again, what would be best for me and Graze and my business and my brand. Or maybe I would try people's, what they've told me, their advice, and then if it didn't work, then I'm not doing that again. Or sometimes it did work and it was fine. So, Yeah, just like trial and error. I always say that. Like that's how things really started for Graze, was just try it.
Just try it.
Doesn't work? Okay, move on.
Yep.
Try the next thing.
So what would be some advice you'd give to people if they were thinking about starting their own business, or if they're working in an area that they're like, oh man, like I don't know what I want to do. Like this is something I'm really passionate about, but can I do it? I
always say this is so cliche, but just do it. Like you are your biggest obstacle, the biggest person that's going to be in your way of starting something. So just do it. And if I would have listened to, the little part of me that was like, oh my gosh, this is too risky, that, you shouldn't be doing this, then I would have never started Graze. So just do it. Don't have anything to lose. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
And, pick yourself back up and try again, or, do something else. But I think people's biggest issue is just getting started.
Yeah.
I just start and see where it goes. And I think that's my biggest advice. That's what I tell others as well, is to just start, just do it. And don't listen to that little part of your brain.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Don't give up when one thing goes wrong. Just try to keep moving.
Exactly. Just keep swimming.
Pivot.
Yeah. Pivot. There we go. Pivot.
There you go.
Gotta pivot.
So let's talk a little bit more about Graze. What are some charcuterie board options that you guys have? What's your favorite?
Okay. Good question. So we have many different sizes. So on our menu, we have a size that starts from a small, it feeds 2 to 4, and then we go up to an extra large that feeds 15 to 20. And those are our board options. Then anything bigger than that, I can do a Graze table, where I'll go to the venue at your wedding or graduation party or housewarming party, wherever. I'll go on location and I'll build the charcuterie there on site.
Okay.
So I'll prep everything in my kitchen and then bring it to wherever your party is and set it up there
That's cool.
at the venue, which is cool.
Yeah.
So then I can feed people that have groups of 200 or 150, much bigger groups than just what my boards can feed. And those are my favorite to do, the Graze tables, because I can really be creative and use my art to host and entertain big masses of people. And they just look so aesthetically pretty. Like they
really are.
Eat with our eyes first, and just having that huge presentation with all the colors and shapes and sizes and textures and all the things just packed on this island or table or wherever the party is fun. And it's always a fun conversation starter and a cool thing to have at an event. So Graze tables are my favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to come in and look at it and be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to eat it. It's so pretty.
I know.
So what kind of stuff do you put on your charcuterie boards?
All sorts of stuff. So I really stick to charcuterie based items. So lots of different meats, lots of different cheeses. And then I do pickled items, pickles, olives, tons of different fruits, veggies, dips and spreads and honeys, crackers, baguettes, dried fruits, all sorts of, I really try to get all the food groups. So there's something for everyone. And I like to do, cheeses is where I have a lot of fun on my board. So I like to have some mild cheeses on boards or grazing tables, things that people will all like. But there's also some fun cheeses that I'll find every once in a while that I'll put on there to encourage people to try new things. And maybe get out of their comfort zone from cheddar or Holy Jack and try something new that they end up finding that they love. So cheeses and meats, just everything. I like to have fun with using all different everything. Just everything I like to use. And my key is to use as many different colors and shapes and textures as I can. And that's where I really get the aesthetic, really pretty part of the board, the accessorizing is what I call it. Once I lay my cheese and meat down, and I like to fill all the gaps with the accessories of all the colorful things. And that's where I think a board really pops and comes
That's so
to life.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you make them for yourself very often?
Yeah. Anytime we're hosting a party or if it's the holiday, everyone's Erica, you're making the charcuterie board, right? I'm like, I guess.
Sure.
I'll put myself in my schedule of things to make for the day. But yeah, I like to make a lot of charcuterie boards at home. And I like to get creative with maybe things that I can't use on my boards at the shop. I have to be price conscious at the shop.
Right. So like that's a hard thing is to like,
it is
think
hard.
about price because you have to go and buy all the stuff to make it with, and
food's expensive.
It is.
And meat and cheese is expensive. So I have to be conscious of that. But if I'm doing something personal for myself, that's when I will go to, Whole Foods and I'll buy the special, more expensive cheeses that are imported from different areas of the world and try those. Stuff that I maybe can't afford to use on my charcuterie boards at the shop to sell to my customers. I'll use some special things when I'm doing them for myself.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So is there like a fan favorite of like what people like to get?
Yes. Merlot cheddar is like my all-time. Everyone will request it on their boards. I try to sell it at the shop as well. We have a cheese case out on the floor that I try to keep stocked with fun meat and cheeses that you can buy to make your own charcuterie board at home. And Merlot cheddar is always the one that sells out the quickest. And
what does it taste like?
It's like a white cheddar with notes of Parmesan. Okay. So it's rich. It's really good.
That sounds
kind of salty, and it has this really pretty purple rind on the outside because it's soaked in wine. And it's just so good. I don't like wine, but I love the Merlot cheddar.
Okay.
Yeah, with honey.
That makes sense, Merlot.
It's like it is like Merlot wine, soaked cheddar cheese, and it's good. It's crumbly and it's delicious.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
So how does that whole process work, like with people ordering? I know you mentioned earlier when we were all just talking here that you guys do deliveries.
Yes.
So how do people order? Like, what's the process with that? Do they get to pick out whatever they want on their boards? Or?
So you can order through my website, grazebyerica.com. You can send me an email. You can message me on Instagram or Facebook. And you can order through there. I like a lead time of like 5 to 7 days. If it's anything sooner, always ask. And I can I will always try to fit somebody into my schedule. It is just nice since I have to shop ahead of time. It's kind of nice to know like what's coming down the pipeline. And as far as like customization goes, if somebody has a request for like, I hate brie cheese, can you not put that on there? Or I love your Merlot cheddar, can you try to put that on there? Then I try to accommodate like requests, but it is hard to have, Sally pick out her 5 cheeses and 4 meats and Rebecca pick out her 5 cheeses and 4 meats. And I make them in big batches where like I'll lay out and do like 10 of them at a time. And it would just be so hard. It would take me forever to be like, she wants these cheeses, he wants these cheeses. It would take me forever. So I can do requests, but I always will tell my customers just to trust me. I put a really good variety of all different cheeses and meats on there. And usually when you are entertaining with a group of people, there's always something on there. If you don't like brie, there could be 5 other guests that you're hosting that love brie. So sometimes it is nice to have brie on there.
Right. So there's other options.
Yes, there's other options.
Yeah.
There's something for everyone on the board. So I say chef's choice, or just trust me, I'll make it great.
9 times out of 10, the chef knows what they're doing, and they always put something good on there.
I do promise I know what I'm doing, and I can pick out some good things. But I'll take requests, though. Of course, if there's an allergy or if somebody really just, hates a certain cheese.
Right. Do you do, like, customizable boards at all? I saw one picture on your website. It was, like, a Halloween-looking one. That was really cool.
So for holidays, I'll do fun themes.
Okay.
So, Halloween is really fun. I do Valentine's Day boards that are fun.
Cute.
I've done some fall like harvest boards.
Ooh, I love
that
fall.
Are unique. Yeah. So I try to get creative and do themes when I can.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Halloween one's my favorite though.
So what's the goal for Graze? Like when you started this, like what did you want for people, for yourself? Like what was the goal?
I wanted to bring people together, like over food. And I'm such a like hostess at heart and an entertainer. I love hosting people and having them over in my own space and putting out a spread of food and just having everyone gather like in the kitchen, the heart of the home, and just chat and socialize and talk about the food and eat the food. And I think that's where people get along the best, is like over food. And I think that's why people go to dinner together and, you know, people host dinner parties at their home. And my goal when creating Graze was to do that, to bring people together over food and just to gather and graze. And the convenience part of it is also really nice too, that I can just drop it off to you, or you can pick it up in the shop and it's
makes it
already
more personable
done.
Too.
Yes, yeah, and it's
create
fun
that
to
relationship with your customers, and
exactly,
that's awesome.
And it's fun to be able to be a part of people's fun events, whether it be a wedding for cocktail hour, or somebody's graduation party, or first communion, or just a casual date night at home that they wanted to have a charcuterie board for. So it's fun. Cheese is fun, and it's light and casual, and it's nothing serious, which is also what I like about Graze. I'm not performing brain surgery or anything.
It's not hard to mess up.
No, it's just fun. Like, it's casual. I try not to take anything like too serious. There are stressful days at work, but I just remind myself that it's just cheese. Yeah. Like, it's not that serious. It's going to be okay.
Pivot.
Exactly. Gotta pivot.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming today.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.